Hello and welcome to the Adventure Toolkit example reel number 15. My name is Glenn Storm and I'm from Hot Iron Productions. Today we're going to look at the last of the tools from the Scene folder, starting with the Scene Trigger. The Scene Trigger tool is designed to send your users to other scenes via the Scene Manager once the tool is activated. The first property on the Scene Trigger is Scene Name, and this is the name of the level you would like to go to. It must match the name of the scene in your project you want to go to. And more importantly, the scenes that you would like to go to must be loaded under Build Settings. So if you go to File, Build Settings, you must see those scenes in the Build Settings. Okay. The last property on the Scene Trigger is Relay Delay. This is the number of seconds from the activation of this trigger until the signal to switch scenes takes place. I've set this to a half-second delay. So instead of relying on your users to use the menu to switch scenes, you can use this Scene Trigger in trigger systems. Let's say you've got your player has reached the end of your level and has run into a collision trigger, and you're firing an event saying yay. You can also activate this Scene Trigger to send them to the next scene. Okay, we have used a menu in this particular scene before. I'm going to turn it off for this example because the Scene Trigger is not meant to turn the menu off. It's only meant to switch scenes. So I'm going to disable the menu manager manually, and I'll start up this scene raw as if it were not the main menu scene. And then I'll activate the Scene Trigger. This will send us to another scene. You can tell that it is another scene because I placed an object here saying this is a different scene. And conveniently there is another Scene Trigger here that will send us back to the original scene after a 1 second delay. And that is the Scene Trigger. The last tool in the Scene folder is called Singleton By Name. Singleton By Name is one of two tools in the Adventure Toolkit that have absolutely no properties at all. They are meant to simply identify objects for one purpose or another. In this case, Singleton By Name is designed to identify an object that should not be deleted upon scene switching. You may have noticed in previous examples that we used this component on particular managers that are meant to go from scene to scene, namely the Scene Manager tool, and the Menu Manager tool, and the Captions Manager tool under the Cinematic folder, and the Music Manager tool under the Audio folder. These tools are meant to go from scene to scene and keep running. The Music Manager so that music can keep playing at the right, in time. The Captions Manager so that all your captions can be displayed and can be managed by the Scene Manager to toggle on and off. The Menu Manager to store the information about the button state of options, etc. And the Scene Manager must go from scene to scene in order to hold all of that together. If there's any other objects that you would like to not be deleted as you go from scene to scene, you can use this component. It's not meant to be a tool on its own, but there's one other thing. It's an important thing to mention about Singleton By Name. Because it is a Singleton By Name, it is important to note that it is looking for the name of the object alone in order to identify if it is something that it should delete or not. In other words, you may notice that I have parent objects on all of these example object tools. And typically they actually match the name of the object I'm going to go over, as in Camera Manager has an object called Camera Manager. It looks exactly the same. But for these particular tools that need to have a Singleton By Name, I've actually removed the space in between so that it is the only name in the scene that has this name. That is on purpose so that Singleton By Name knows to keep these objects around and not worry about the parent objects that are simply there as placeholders. Okay, so Singleton By Name works on the name only, and you must have a unique name on your object in order for it to work. There really is no demonstration of this object except to simply play the scene and go to another scene, and you can see These objects that I have turned on that have Singleton by Name on them are still here and in play. Okay. That is Singleton by Name, and that is the last tool in the Scene folder, and that is all the time we have for this video, and in fact that is the last tool to go over in the Adventure Toolkit. I hope you've enjoyed these videos, and I hope you enjoy using the Adventure Toolkit.